Folks, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the show. June 9th, Election Day. That's right, my fellow Red Riverites. Is that what we call them? More specifically, Fargoans. Time for the voting masses to head on over to their local church. It's always like that. It's like a church community center. Then they're going to cast your vote for your favorite Who's It, What's Her Name. Folks, if you don't know, the Who's It, What's Her Names this year, it's a cast of characters. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's a diverse coalition of like decently middle of the road types. A super PAC sponsored Democratic Party shill, we'll get to him. He's cool at least. You know, he has some flair to him. I'll give him that. His marketing team certainly does. A civil rights commission chairman, a few ladies to round out the ballot. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think either of them are going to win. I'm just going to be honest. It's not anything to do with their gender. It's to do with their policy. So let's do a quick, funny review of each of these fellas to hopefully inform your vote there, folks. Josh Boshi. I think that's his name. I'm gonna be honest with you. Undeniably, he's gotten the most attention in this race. I open my Instagram every goddamn day, and I say, who is this Humpty Dumpty, chubby-cheeked, cherub-looking man telling me he wants to fix the city? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Boshi, in my opinion, he's the likely winner here, as he's got the most hype around his name. Not my personal pick, nor the man that I will endorse. Actually, you're going to be shocked at my endorsement, but not really once I explain it. Josh, let's review. His funding comes from the following. There's a federally registered Washington-based political action committee backing Democratic candidates. It's called Next 50 PAC. It's contributed $10,000. Mostly individual donors have also contributed. Top donors and contributors include Carrie Peterson, gave about $5,000. Walter Samuel gave about the same. Self-funding also came from him contributing about $9,700 of his own money. Transferred $8,700 from his former state Senate campaign account. Labor trade organizations also, he's backed by the Northern Plains United Labor Council, Teamsters local. The Teamsters, as we know, they're never connected to anything remotely underground. I'm not saying anything. This is a satirical show. We're having fun. Local 638, International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 49, the Building Industry Association of the Red River Valley, and the Fargo-Moorhead Area Association of Realtors. So, if you're not happy about HOAs and things like that, I don't know what to tell you. Let's see his ad, because I'm going to be honest with you, his ad sells himself pretty good. His marketing team is pretty damn solid.
I love this city.
Do ya?
I lived here, worked here, served here, and I believe Fargo's best days are ahead.
Talking to some Amish lady.
To lead differently.
Whoa, lead differently?
When I sit down with people at kitchen tables, in coffee shops, and at neighborhood meetings, they keep hearing the same thing. People don't always feel heard. They care about safety, about housing costs,
hell yeah,
about property taxes, and they want City Hall to respond, not just manage problems.
Yeah.
I'm running for mayor because leadership should show up in every neighborhood. It should listen first, and it should be accountable for results.
Let me show me talking to some lady in a hoodie who does not look remotely camera ready.
I worked across party lines to get things done, including passing property tax relief for homeowners,
look at him,
advocating for renters, managing responsible budgets, and securing funding to strengthen our...
I don't know what to say, guys. He's like cute. He's got like this I want to bake him cookies vibe. Look at his like round little nose. He's got like this Keebler elf vibe to him. His little side part, his ginger hair. So he's native to the area. Kind of a Nordic build,
I know how to bring people together.
Look he's walking around in this icy tundra and he's only got on this nice little sweater vest. Otherwise, he's able to raw dog it in that flannel.
This isn't about politics. It's about practical solutions.
Yeah.
Public safety that builds trust. Real housing solutions. Smart budgeting that respects taxpayers.
You gonna make more neighborhoods like Prairie Rose, like little city states essentially, where people feel locked out of that, they can't even drive through it, or you're gonna get a fucking, you're gonna get ticketed, you're gonna get one of those people in the booth trying to ask you for your ID and shit like that. What is it? What are you guys hiding in those fucking neighborhoods? Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you, there's so many neighborhoods in this city now, and flock cameras are everywhere. What are we gonna do about those?
Mayor who listens.
I want a mayor who addresses the flock camera situation. Nobody is enjoying. I hate the fact that I have to hit my vape and wave at you every single time that I see you guys.
Not just during a campaign, but every day.
You're insane. Paid for by friends of Joshua Boshi. Josh, that does not make you look as good as you think. When you put in your ad, it's paid for by my friends behind the scenes and all that. I'm just going to be honest with you. It doesn't help your kind of like big Democratic sponsored look. I'm just going to be honest. Okay, here he is talking about the Fargo Convention Center.
Brawlhalla basically willing to take on, the debt or whatever.
Brawlhalla is it is a den. It is, Obi-Wan Kenobi in the first Star Wars, not the first, but the first one to come out, episode 4. You get it? He goes like a hive of scum and villainy. That is what Brawlhalla is. It's a fun spot. Don't get me wrong. The hotel rooms are baller, but that is what it is. That is what it has been since the day it opened. Building near the railroad is always a weird option. I'm just going to be honest with you. Moorhead's been trying to do it for years. It's always been failing. I'm sorry that it's true.
It takes a lot of risk off the city. Personally for you, does that not make you nervous? You look at like what Epic did with the city of West Fargo.
Why does this person in the background of his very serious interviews, Joseph Andrews, no tea, no shade. I've checked out his podcast. It seems really well run, better run than this one. He has an actual camera set up and an actual microphone or whatever. But like the music in the background, I want to hear what these people are saying.
Similar partnerships of, we're going to promise you all these things. Well, it turned out for nothing. Now it falls back again on the city. Are you confident in Brawlhalla's ability to live up to those promises?
That's a great perspective, and something I think we all have to be more acutely aware of. So I think it's the first time it's proposed. In terms of the operators of not just Brawlhalla, but the whole team that they put together, those folks are all local, just like the team that's proposing the Civic Center. So I think I'd have less concern because they've proven projects. They're building out things in Moorhead right now. They built out throughout Fargo and other areas.
Okay, Josh, let's work on this. I'm not going to even let you finish the rest of this answer. You can go find this person's interview if you want with him. He's so dull. Josh, you have the look. You have this very distinct, like you have this nice little, whatever it's called, like a button-up shirt, and then your nice little sweater vest. Keep that look up. It's distinct. It's unique. It makes you stand out as a mayor. You're going to go viral with this kind of a look. You're going to put Fargo on the map. I'm telling you this because I think you're probably going to be the next mayor. But can I be honest with you, man to man? Please, just, there's a heart to heart, because also I'm concerned about your heart, my guy. I have a strict rule, Josh, and I'm sorry to say this. You got your sunshine and rainbows aspect. You're sort of this giddy and gleeful type, you know what I mean? But this is a minor piece of advice that certain people do think about. How can someone manage a city when they cannot even manage their own caloric intake? That's all I'll say. Moving on. Denise Kolpak, ladies and gentlemen. She is having a mutiny. Old school, pirateering style. She was the deputy mayor for the longtime mayor, Tim Mahoney. Now she is walking the plank to her own campaign. She treats police and fire services as the city's top priority. You would know that, especially if you live near a fire station in the city, like I do, you know what I mean? It's every 5 minutes, every other hour, there's something coming down the road. Coming from a law enforcement family and securing tax funding for first responders is kind of the main thing she's all about. She prioritizes funding essential everyday services, water, sanitation, snow removal, obviously. Fiscal responsibility. She advocates for competitive pay to keep municipal workers, all that junk. She is a strong proponent of approval voting systems, arguing that it increases voter engagement and prevents candidates from winning with only a small fraction of the vote. Oh my God, sorry, my cat just meowed. Shh. I'm talking about the future mayor. God damn you. She believes in building direct partnerships between city, business, law enforcement, and state legislators to tackle complex issues like homelessness and downtown safety. Listen, she's not free of controversy. I will say I'm trying to build up everybody, but I'm also trying to talk about the downsides. She has and I support her in this, but it's something that maybe is going to lose her a little bit of the progressive vote. The idea behind, I don't want to walk over needles. I want to that's apparently a very conservative position these days. Unfortunately, the idea that you want to walk through a park like Lindenwood or the Trollwood area, you want to walk by the Red River and you don't want to walk by encampments. That's it's conservative now, unfortunately, and people look at you like a nut if you're happy about I was cheering when the city of Fargo and whatnot. I'm sorry, Moorhead is just a little laggy behind. Their parks are okay. You always see that one log cabin where I think homeless people do sleep in there. It's ridiculous. I don't know why the city hasn't torn that down yet, but whatever. Fargo passed that beautiful camping ordinance, and then they finally got in the woods and started going, you gotta go, pick up your shit, you gotta move. That was a decent answer to the question of what we should do with the homelessness. Now, Kolpak and the rest of the city commission, though, are facing a lot of public scrutiny after the Tennessee woman was wrongfully jailed for nearly 6 months due to a faulty suspect identification involving facial recognition technology. This is a big issue in Fargo. Look up flock camera systems in Fargo. You can find an actual map. You'll know what intersections to avoid or pass by if you're fun like me. Civil rights advocates and opposing candidates demanded the immediate pause on the police department's use of artificial intelligence. Kolpak focused on communication issues rather than a total ban of the technology. I don't agree with her on this. I don't agree. I'm sorry. You need to do a little bit more when your city, regrettably, and I know that you think this is not a big deal, Kolpak. I understand you go, what the... Denise, to me, feels like this cold Midwest mom, a little bit like she's not warm. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how much her kids are. This is no critique on her or her life, but I'm guessing her kids don't talk very highly of her. That sounds like a critique, but it's not. Some people, that's just how it goes. Some people's kids just don't like them. What am I supposed to do about it? But she just seems like one of these types of people that pushes off the issue rather than directly addressing it. You know, she also seems like someone who's willing to betray a friend. Tim Mahoney, you know what I mean? You served at his side, deputy mayor. I don't know what that means to you. I'm sure it meant a lot to him. But I don't know. I can't speak for him. I would never. All right, I'm going to move on to somebody else because I had an interview that I was going to play from her, but she suffers from the condition that Josh Boshi does. She's an inherently very dull speaker. She's not very interesting to listen to. Okay, Sekau Sirleaf is a local pastor. He's a community advocate and the chair of the Fargo Human Rights Commission. He is running as well. Listen, I don't know how well he's going to poll here. I'm going to be honest with you. Fargo Human Rights Commission. And also, I haven't seen what exactly, where is your ad campaign? Where is your, I'm going to be honest with you, at least when I go pick up a copy of the Fargo Forum, Denise Kolpak takes up an entire half of a page. It's ridiculous. I opened up to read one of the things on the next page, and her face was everywhere. She's buying up ad space like it's fucking George Orwell. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, Kolpak, that's another critique of yours. You put your face on everything like this really creepy kind of dictator thing. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay. Sirleaf's political and social platform centers on a lot of reform, equity, and closing the gap between grassroots communities and local government. So this basically means he strongly advocates for rethinking traditional policing. This his words, not mine. He believes in public safety, but he also believes the city should aggressively invest in a robust mental health and social services kind of wing so that the armed police officers are not the default responders for people experiencing psychiatric crises. So we could have people that are social workers showing up to when someone has, you call the police and you go, there's a man sitting in my front yard and he has a needle in his arm and he's laying face down in my grass. My sprinkler system's about to turn on. It's fucking, it's 40 something degrees out there. I don't know if that can give you hypothermia because, Fargoans never know anything. They're like, I think he could die out there. Can you just send somebody? And they go, okay, fine. And then, they're going to show up. And then instead of it going very smoothly, like I think this man believes it would go, I think that needle is going to go from that homeless person's arm into that social worker anywhere. That needle could go anywhere. It can puncture through clothing. I'm sorry. That is what I think the most likely result of it is going to be. Fargo's homeless are not the ordinary homeless. Listen. The ordinary homeless live in New York and they live in California. They live in areas where it's like major cities. They live in down south. They don't have to deal with the frigid cold like Fargo's homeless have lately. Listen, the winters are getting weaker. For some reason, they're shortening up north. We're getting like more of a cold season, wet season. It's like a weird dichotomy that we're getting up here, but it's not freezing out the homeless every year. And I'm upset about this global warming shit if that's real. If the global warming shit is the reason for this, I'm okay with getting walks in April, but I hate that we're not able to get down to like sub-zero temperatures anymore to really get them out. Like that was what kept this city great for so many years, was that we were so far north we could freeze them out every winter, and then they were never able to lay down roots quite like they were able to in southern laying cities. Even like Chicago, they were able to bundle up to, it was like an Arab desert. They just covered their faces to resist the wind. They got like sunglasses and shit. They looked like traders on the Silk Road. That's what people are doing now in Fargo. They're adapting. That's what you have to get serious about the homeless in Fargo. And I don't think he is ready to get serious. So, he's also targeting systematic poverty. Here we go, pointing directly to Fargo's roughly 13% poverty rate. He campaigns on the belief that economic desperation is a primary driver of local crime. Not even inherently wrong. He pushes for city budgets to prioritize affordable housing and expanded public transportation, such as MAT bus. That wouldn't be a terrible idea, so low-income residents can reliably get to work. That's not an awful idea. Okay. During mayoral debates, he clashed fiercely with fiscal conservatives on the city commission regarding homelessness. He argues that homelessness in Fargo isn't merely an issue of addiction. That's wrong. I'm sorry, it largely is. On highlighting that working professionals, pastors, and families are being displaced because of minor blemishes on their rental histories, allowing landlords to systematically reject them. Listen, on that argument, you have to have I have sympathy for the families that are on the street, obviously. God, shut up. But have a little sympathy for the homeowner, the person who's got to rent out his house to some junkie who might ruin it. Listen, I have been to homes that have been destroyed. These are people who rent out like minor apartments. They get like those trailers. And it's, you walk in, there's lights that are broken. There's holes in the ceiling. There's holes in the floor. There's like bits of the linoleum stapled, and you just go like, you're renting this? And then they go like, yeah. And then you go, was it like this when you got it? And they go, no. And you go, you're fucked. Once your landlord sees this, it's over. And then you go, yeah. I think I'm just gonna like kill myself in here. And then you're like, what? You're planning to kill yourself in here? And he goes, yeah. What do you think? I can't replace that linoleum myself. That is most conversations that unfortunately happen with these low reliability renters. It's like homes where like the children, I'm just gonna be honest with you. They like pick at the ceiling. They pick at the carpet. They like dig holes in the what's it called, like the bedside of with like a knife they stole from their dad. These are kids that like are in a home that's already kind of like displaced and reckless. So they're gonna be the types that are like, unfortunately, they're gonna be like wrestling too much, and then they're gonna slam their brother into like a wall and break the drywall. It's like a chaotic house. And I'm sorry to say it, you have to have a little sympathy for the landlord who knows he's gonna rent to this family and come back to it wrecked. I'm not saying that we have to allow him to systematically displace these families. I'm saying, God damn it, give them a little sympathy, because they're killing these landlords out here. They're killing them. It's ridiculous with these goddamn families breaking the drywall. It's like stepbrothers out here. It's ridiculous. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. It's all the Chicagoans moving here. Okay. We're moving on. He's not free of controversy. We have to address this. As Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney was on his way out, he recommended completely dissolving the city's Human Rights Commission. Sirleaf and his fellow commissioners fought back aggressively. They were securing a reprieve from the city commission to restructure and prove the board's necessity under a different city umbrella. He also drew significant attention and pushback from state authorities following the fatal 2022 Fargo police shooting of Shane Netterville. Sirleaf and the Human Rights Commission aggressively called for an external independent investigation into the incident. The demand created lasting institutional tension, especially after North Dakota Attorney General Drew Wrigley, like the gum, ultimately ruled the officer's use of deadly force was entirely justified and legally sound. Well, that's unfortunate for him. Okay, so that's around, a picture of that gentleman. Dave Pipecorn, let's cover him next. He's a long-serving fiscally conservative Fargo City Commissioner. Before entering politics, he was a standout athlete, serving as captain of the 1983 national champion NDSU Bison football team. So clearly, he knows a lot about something. I don't know if it's anything about politics, but he knows a lot about the ball. He knows a lot about the goy ball, and he was drafted into the NFL by the Cleveland Browns. In local government, he is known as a blunt, unapologetic traditionalist who favors business growth and low taxes. I don't even disagree with half of that stuff. That's like a pretty decent policy. Okay, he's highly skeptical of government spending and municipal tax hikes. He famously stood as a lone dissenting voice against a proposed 1 cent infrastructure sales tax, actively telling voters that a mayoral election is a rare chance to force local government to cut taxes rather than expand its budget. He also heavily supports utilizing tax exemptions and corporate incentives to spur commercial real estate development. Pipecorn also believes that cutting red tape for developers and private business is an absolute best way to grow Fargo's tax base and secure long-term financial health. Listen, I don't know that the attitude right now in general is very pro-large corporation, but if that's the way he wants to lean. He also places massive emphasis on traditional law enforcement, but has locally criticized recent departmental leadership. He slammed the tenure of former police chief David Zabolski as a disaster, and he's not wrong about that. I did as well. That destroyed senior staff morale, arguing that it will take years to rebuild a strong traditional culture within the Fargo Police Department. Yeah, I'd agree. Okay, we have to address this. If you're a police officer listening to this right now and you work at Fargo PD, Officer Twink, put him back on your goddamn social media profile. He's the only one of you that anybody cares about. I'm sorry to say, he's the only one of you that has any gusto, has any ability to present themselves. You know, Officer Henning, is that what his name was? Whatever, it doesn't matter. He was the best of you. He was the best of all of you. And unfortunately, you took him off of the social media platform after everybody finally noticed that you have one attractive person working in that police department. One. He is the first you've had and the first and probably the only you will ever have. That is just an unfortunate fact of life. All right. Key controversies in general was the 2017 issue and late 2016, early 2017 for Pipecorn. He triggered a massive firestorm when he publicly questioned the financial and social costs of refugee resettlement in Fargo. Listen, I don't even disagree with him on that. Why is it our responsibility to rehouse people who can't keep their country in order? I get that. He demanded an audit of local resettlement agencies, claiming they placed an unfair burden on local taxpayers. The comments sparked national media attention, allegations of xenophobia, and a highly organized grassroots petition to recall him from office started, though the recall ultimately fell apart due to legal timelines and signature rules. It deeply divided the community in general, but I think that he's got some solid points. He was also blamed for the Red River flooding during a tense flooding season in the spring of 2020. He sparked immediate backlash from the region's agricultural community during a radio interview. He fiercely blamed upstream rural farmers and their substance drain tile systems for worsening Fargo's urban flood threat. Upstream land advocates and agricultural groups blasted him for using unscientific talking points to deflect from the reckless city planning to aggressively push the controversial FM diversion channel project. All right, listen, the Fargo-Moorhead diversion channel project is something that every person does need to learn a little bit about. Unfortunately, I could never word it very succinctly, so this person will.
About. The Red River of the North is a 550-mile river that flows up into Canada. This means in the spring, when the southern portion is thawing, all that water is rushing north to meet the snow and ice. The valley, carved out by an ancient glacial lake, is one of the flattest expanses of land in the world, all of which means devastating floods. The Fargo-Moorhead Area Flood Diversion Project is the first green finance initiative in the U.S. designed for environmental adaptation. When complete, the project will provide permanent, reliable protection for up to 260,000 people, their homes, and businesses. And it's using renewable biofuels in the machinery. Acciona is one of the 3 partners that formed the Red River Valley Alliance.
This is a very this project angle of it, because honestly, I wanted to an entire piece dedicated to this project so that you can get both sides of the argument. But people are rightfully concerned about the idea that it is spending, this is just by the way estimates, $2.8 million a day. I don't know where all of that is going, but you drive out west, you can find a lot of this project still happening. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's gonna work the way that they tell us it is. I need to do all the specs on it. I need to give you both sides of the argument. It doesn't matter. Pipecorn, thank you so much for your opinion. Now we get to the real big guns, the real winner, the whom I believe to be the dark horse candidate in this race. Michelle Turnberg is a local broadcast journalist turned politician. who serves as Fargo City Commissioner. First elected to the commission in June 2024, she represents the center-right, neighborhood-focused faction of local governance and is a candidate in this election who I think is going to take it home. Prior to entering public office and working in medical sales, she was a well-known community voice, spending 16 years as television news anchor for local stations. So she's got the media face, she's got the attention, and I think she's got what it takes. She strongly believes that the city commission has spent too much time and money focusing almost exclusively on downtown revitalization. Living in South Fargo, she campaigns on the idea that the city's rapidly growing residential suburbs are being neglected, arguing, and by the way, she's not wrong. If you walk around any of these like South Fargo neighborhoods, West Fargo neighborhoods, you go through back alleys, you think you're going to start hearing saxophones and your buddy's going to get shot. It's a nerve-wracking state to be in. It's not always, it's not every neighborhood you walk through, but it's certain ones, that's for sure. And okay, she is also arguing against endless TIFs, tax increment financings, and a multi-million-dollar bridges to nowhere downtown in favor of widespread infrastructure investment. Not a bad idea. She treats first responders, police, fire, and EMTs as an absolute priority for the city budget. She advocates for giving law enforcement leadership the freedom to do their jobs without what she views as unnecessary, unqualified, and ineffective oversight boards. I don't know what that means in general. She also, I'm just going to be honest with you, that one feels a little, I want a little bit of oversight on law enforcement. I don't want them to be running around doing absolutely whatever they please, but I'd like there to be some degree of oversight. Okay, she argues that local government has strayed from its core responsibilities. She believes City Hall should stick to strict essential city services like maintaining streets, managing water systems, and supporting public safety rather than pursuing specialized ideological agendas. Not a bad idea. That's not, listen, she's one of these types that pulls you in and then you alienate, and then you get pulled in and then you alienate a bit. That's the kind of, I want a little bit of like, I want someone who challenges me, but I want someone who's like a little bit predictable in some extent. That's like, listen, she's got this politician vibe down already. She's got this Marjorie Taylor Greene energy. That, and by the way, that's not a bad thing. You might think it is, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is maybe the most electable person that the right wing has right now. You can put that on my grave. I'm not on my grave that she wins, but on my grave she could win. A cornerstone of her mayoral platform is reforming how the city handles social crises. Turnberg believes that the public health initiatives should move away from harm reduction strategies. Agreed. Actively advocating for the city to shut down its syringe and needle exchange program. Agreed. By the way, totally agreed. I don't want to be in. Listen, if these needles were for diabetics, then I'd believe in needle exchange programs, but they're not for diabetics. They're for heroin addicts. She also believes the city-run resource and recovery center should be handed over to a private nonprofit. She has kept relatively clean, ethical record. Her straightforward conservative platforms, though, have handed her a lot of controversy over the years. She's clashed over homelessness, obviously the syringe programs, her public push to end the city's needle exchange programs and privatize the Downtown Engagement Resource Center has drawn a lot of sharp and direct criticism, obviously, from progressive leaders like Sekau Sirleaf and local public health advocates. This means people that would like you to assist drug users. The issue with drug users isn't that they're using the drugs. It's that they're killing themselves with the needles that they're using to use the drugs. I guess that's the issue. She's vocally criticizing the city's heavy focus on downtown real estate incentives. Agreed. Turnberg is naturally drawn quite a bit of pushback from local developers and business coalitions who credit those exact municipal tax breaks with reviving the city's economic center. By the way, the city's economic center, there's shootings every other week at this point. There's like a stabbing that just happened at Burger Shot. There's another one that happened just down by Broadway. There's like people that are getting tackled. There's gunshots getting blown off, but then they have to let that person go because they didn't find a gun or whatever. This happened literally just last week. Check iNews TV. This is don't pretend as though, yes, we have 3 big buildings now. Fargo's this big city. No, it's not. Quit it. Knock it off. It's still this like 2-horse town, and we shouldn't get too big for our britches. We should understand that, yes, there's a bit of like this LA vibe with the spread out city where you always need a car. You need a car unless you live in like a specific suburb. The walkability is 0 in this city, and that's fine. That's fine. If it works for the population, it works for them. During the 2026 mayoral mayoral debates, Turnberg frequently sparred with her more progressive or moderate colleagues over the scope of the city budget. It doesn't even matter. She has an energy that no one else does. Do you know why that is? She has bravery. She has bravery. Do you know how I know that? She's brave enough to say that George Floyd was not murdered.
George Floyd as an overdose situation, not a murder.
Yep. I did.
You don't think that the officer killed George Floyd?
I will tell you that Fargo officers are taught that exact same maneuver.
Yes!
It was taught across the country, and it was taught as the most medically safe way to do it. Did Derek Chauvin overdo it? Perhaps.
Perhaps.
You overdosed. You have to watch The Fall of Minneapolis.
Great documentary.
And I know what the motivation is behind The Fall of Minneapolis.
You don't even have to watch The Fall of Minneapolis, by the way. You can read the report. You can read the autopsy report. Not the one commissioned by his family and the doctor who didn't even get to see the body. The one that the FBI attempted to hide from being released to the media. That's the autopsy, the one that happened directly after his death. It happened from the Hennepin County Medical Examiner. If you do not believe The Fall of Minneapolis, you don't have to. I understand people can go, it was politically motivated. Okay, read the reports. The fentanyl in his system was ridiculous. And by the way, people were yelling at him. They told him to stop. If you were a police officer, do you take orders from a crowd? Do you take orders from a crowd that is screaming at you? He can't, you're doing this too damn long. I agree with you. I don't even disagree with the fact that maybe he did it too long. Agreed. It's what his training was. And I understand he should have been a human. He should have been whatever. I don't understand the mind of a police officer. I never pretend to. I still believe that Derek Chauvin did not murder George Floyd intentionally. And you can think of me whatever you'd like. Me and this lady, Michelle Turnberg, are the only ones brave enough to say the truth.
Listen, I know who brought attention to the fall of Minneapolis, and much of it's used politically.
Politically.
What I'm talking about is the murder of a man whose neck was knelt on by a police officer who was murdered. You had crowd yelling, "He can't breathe."
You listen to the crowd if you're an officer?
That were at the scene, that what was happening was wrong. They wish they would have interacted sooner. This guy knew what he was doing.
Nope.
This wasn't a technique.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Fargo officers.
It's in the fucking Minneapolis code of fucking conduct for the police officers before it was removed. This is a fact. You can look it up.
I believe it's okay to kneel on a subject that they now are in control of.
I'm telling you that
until
is
he can't
a
breathe,
nationally.
then you got a problem.
Not me. That's a nationally
Fargo
taught.
has a problem.
That's a nationally taught move.
Fargo has a problem. If it's nationally taught move to turn somebody over and handcuff
It's in
them.
handbooks. It is in
Michelle,
handbooks.
what we're disputing.
Look at this guy. He's freaking out.
That's a way to get control of someone.
Oh, he's freaking out.
What we're disputing here is whether or not that's something you use for as long as what he did.
What?
He killed him.
What? Wait.
And he was on drugs.
Yeah.
So it was okay to kill him because he was on drugs?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that contributed to it.
It contributed to the arrest. Agreed. He was killed because he kneeled on him too long.
Let's
Not
get back
true.
to the homeless. I just disagree with you.
Yep.
Okay.
This guy just can't handle the facts. He can't look up the fentanyl levels in his blood himself. Look, if you don't want to look up the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's report, the man who actually saw the body, not the person commissioned by George Floyd's family, clearly with a political incentive, I want you to just examine the truth, ladies and gentlemen. It's up to you. I'm not going to drag you up into the light where you belong. I'm not going to tell you that George Floyd likely was an entire psyop to get people racially angry at each other, to get people to argue about Black Lives Matter, to get them to focus on something else besides the incoming surveillance state, COVID vaccines, all that other bullshit. It was the biggest and most successful psyop of our lives. You can mark my words. I promise you this will be remembered in the history books. Me and Michelle Turnberg, the truth tellers, the only ones brave enough to tell it like it is, ladies and gentlemen. Here, and she also doesn't like tax breaks for the rich. That's her.
What is your take on giving big developers tax breaks, incentives to come and move in within the city?
No. We don't need to. Other cities function just fine without them. Other cities function just fine without specials.
Baller.
There's probably going to be some growing pains that come along with this, and it's, we've been doing it this way forever, but we will make the changes. We've got very good candidates.
She's got vision. You got to give her that, ladies and gentlemen. Who knows? Who knows who's going to be the next mayor of Fargo? My endorsement falls on Michelle Turnberg. I have officially endorsed you, Michelle. Maybe you'll be brave enough to come on your brain on air. Wouldn't that be interesting? Maybe I invite any of you, by the way. Any of these people. I know none of them will be brave enough to accept it. That's perfectly fine and reasonable. I wouldn't either. This is a very strange program to ever to accept an invite to. So, Josh, good luck in the mayoral residence. I promise you that it is probably not all it's lived up in your mind to be. You will be this city's Oswald Cobblepot. That is my prediction here and now. Who knows what tomorrow may bring? I will keep you updated as to what the results of the election will be.